second part of the interview. Once upon a time, I was a nun.
In my imagination, enlightenment is about just being happy all the time. What you are referring to here with Dhamma and truthfulness now sounds a little different for me. Can you distinguish between enlightenment as a way of happiness and enlightenment as the way of truthfulness, or is that actually one and the same?
Oh, this is like really big question. And well, I mean, big, important. You know, luckily there are many people now who try to develop, they do self-development, they do this spiritual path, they do this search, and there is this science of esoterics. I don't know if it is science or not, but there is teaching of esoterics when people try to look for spirituality, and in all those ways they really look for way to be happy. Dhamma also talks about happiness. Finishing any meditation, finishing any Dhamma talk, completing any good deed, we want to share our merits, and we say, may all beings share in my merits, so that may all beings be free from suffering and be happy. So Buddhism does teach about happiness, but I understand that this is very different happiness from what all other people look for. Buddhism Buddhism orients us for happiness, which is not connected. It also talks about joy. We should rejoice in many positive things in life, of course, but the happiness that Buddhism teaches us, this is not happiness of joy. This is not happiness of emotion. This is not happiness of any pleasure. All these, they are like you have a system which is working and you can upgrade it. So all these different types of happiness, they are like different additional applications that you can install and use always to have everything else at the background, and this will be the main happening, the happiness, the joy, the pleasure. Buddhism teaches about happiness, I would say, more contrary to suffering. Buddhism really teaches not to suffer. It doesn't mean not to have pain. It doesn't mean not to cry. It doesn't mean to become emotionless. It means to be balanced. It means to be equanimous. It means to not to be lost. I think the worst of all is to be lost in any situation, to be lost in your mind, to be lost in understanding, to be lost in security, in certainty that, when you have a friend and you trust that friend, and then suddenly something happens that somebody tells you that he betrayed you, he did this and that, and you can't believe. You can't believe because you fully trusted this friend, and there is big uncertainty because you don't have your ground anymore. You're not stable, you lose your ground under your feet. So this is something that Dhamma teaches, when you never have this situation that you will lose your ground under your feet. And this will be something opposite to suffering. This will be the certainty. So this is the happiness. Happiness is that you are never unhappy. So not happiness by itself, but really being never unhappy, never experiencing this frustration, this doubt. Doubt is so awful. Doubt is like eating us from inside. When you doubt, you have to think so much. What if this? What if that? Maybe better like this, maybe better like that. And if I do like this, what will be? You have to project so many fears when you doubt. So doubt is big suffering. So happiness that Buddhism teaches, it is just, eradicating all those situations which make us unstable, which makes us feel no ground under our feet. Because also we say that happiness that people percept with their ordinary vision, this can never be satisfactory, because the law of the nature is such that everything is changing. Everything is temporary. It is changing, it is arising, it is disappearing. So no happiness that we can find in life, although we say it is some spiritual white light within ourselves, but it is also temporary. Nothing is really fixed forever. So this is not the happiness to build upon, because it will change, it will transform, or it will be abrupt with something negative sometimes. So we shouldn't be seeking for anything, because it will anyway change. Whatever we seek for, we will find it, but then we will start seeking for something else. So there is always this nature of unsatisfaction in people's minds.
So Dhamma teaches the truth in a way that you live in the moment to be able to cope with anything in that very moment. So you get the security, and therefore you don't have to suffer anymore.
Yeah, this is kind of the basis. But being in the present moment is not enough. It is not complete. You can be in the present moment, but with mind attached to many different concepts. And then you will be experiencing your own suffering in the present moment, seeing it, understanding it in the present moment. So there is the big emphasis on mindfulness in the present moment, and mindfulness with detachment, and mindfulness with detachment and with the right understanding. But here is this little trick which keeps everybody away from getting there. And this trick is something which I could connect to when I was a nun, that I could start experiencing it. This is the trick of this right understanding. I could have before right understanding, intellectual understanding about what Sayadaw was teaching, about what I heard from some other Dhamma seminars, but it wouldn't make a difference for my experience of life till the moment that I could approach, I could become close to experience it when I was a nun. This is about the right understanding. Right understanding is about the truth. So the truth is very simple, and it says nothing when I repeat again. The truth is just nothing is permanent, everything is changeable, and this is the truth. Sayadaw says the truth is ever new, impermanent nature. But these are just words. I don't know, it's really funny, because now I remember that I was hearing those words, I was understanding them, and I was understanding that this is something I need to learn. But when I experience these words, I see that this is just so funny, just words by themselves, when they're pronounced without understanding, when they're just words only, because there is so much meaning behind them. Just because everything is based on this rule, let's say, rule of impermanence. And that is all. We don't need to know anything else. That is enough. That is the Dhamma, and that says it all. And that gives the solution to any situation.
Living as a nun,
this is what it really gives to you, because then you can really grasp what is meant by these words of the impermanence of everything, and then you can experience the truth. So this is what is really a beneficial thing about it, to just grasp the truth and therefore feel the security of the truth and of the very moment. This is how I understood it.
Well, this is my case, right? In my case, this is what happened. It doesn't mean that whoever becomes a monk or a nun temporarily, they will live this very experience. They might live it from the other side or experience other things. Maybe they can develop so much generosity and kindness and help to others and compassion. So for me, it is the other side. But I cannot let myself skip the word that you pronounced, because I see you are thinking in the right way to understand what I'm saying, but I really want to warn you about this word grasp. This is a word that Sayadaw teaches us a lot about, that we shouldn't be grasping. Grasping means already attaching, right? If I attach, there will be too much effort, too much force, too much belief, too much fixation. And we say that everything is impermanent. So I can't go for the truth, which is about impermanence, being stuck to something, making it permanent. So grasping is really like catching, holding, and taking to yourself. This is grasping. So this is the way, kind of middle way, right? This is another thing that I started feeling what is the middle way when I was a nun. And I then met Sayadaw again, and I tried to confirm with him if my understanding of the middle way is right. And it was so difficult to explain this to him, because this is not something obvious. And in my attempts to explain, I was waving my hands and I was trying to find the words, and anyway he kind of confirmed my understanding. But wait, before I'm talking about other things, in Dhamma there should be the way when we really don't grasp, but we do follow. We need that information, we need some direction, that somebody helps us, somebody who knows already. So we need to follow there and really be very careful not to grasp, not to attach. And this is tricky, and I don't know how to do that. I'm just lucky that it happened to me. What I wish to tell to everyone is that, of course, we should have this inner interest and desire to learn, to understand, to get enlightened, I don't know. But we shouldn't desire it. We shouldn't be very strong on it, because it is not fully dependent on us. As I understand, and my current challenge in life, in what I'm trying to understand, is what depends on us. Because when I learned about the truth, when I became closer to understanding the truth, I understood that there is really no self. There is no me who is doing something. There is no my mind, which is thinking, deciding, making this determination, and then getting mindfulness, getting wisdom. This is my mind. With my mind I'm getting wisdom. No, that is not that. It is just happening by itself. Everything happens by itself. Enlightenment happens, well, I wasn't there, but I guess it has the same structure. Enlightenment happens by itself. Mindfulness happens by itself. It's not me who decides, okay, now I will be mindful. Now full day today I will be mindful. No, it comes and goes. This is the truth. Everything is impermanent. It comes and it goes. We can't control anything in this life. And still, there is something depending on us. This really determination, this really interest, this self-orientation for what is your priority, it makes a change. So I can't still find that line, very thin line between these two, that we can't control anything, nothing depends on us, because there is karma after all. There is cause for every effect. For any happening, there is already something that you did before. So what we can change, as I'm looking now for the answer for my own question, is that what depends on us is only the moment of happening when the effect arises, and the moment of our action, not reaction, not attaching to what is happening and then reacting to it, but acting freely, independently, knowing the current condition and making your choice for your action right now. And this action is something that will make a difference for the future happening. So here it does depend on us, what cause we create for the next effect. But whenever anything is happening, it is already effect. So whatever is happening, you can't really say this happens because you didn't close the door. This is why the cat came out to the street and got lost. Well, yeah, this is simple lay people thinking of cause and effect. And it makes its sense, and there are the logics for our regular life. But Dharma is a bit deeper than that. So for myself now, my lesson, my learning is about that. Where is that balance of letting go, letting happen, knowing only, doing only, observing only, being mindful only. This is what I also learned from Sayadaw. He says always this word only. There is so much sense in this only. Only really means not attaching. Only means, well, this is the middle way, where I found the middle way. Middle way is living this life with knowing the truth, understanding the impermanence, understanding that nothing is real, and not rejecting. Although I know this is not real, but I come, I use it, I do it, I talk to it, to him, to her, to somebody, using something. But at the very same time, I know that this is not real. So not real is like the Buddha concept, the Buddha explicit explanation of what all is, that nothing is real, everything is emptiness. So knowing this emptiness, we still come to live this life, use all these objects, remembering about this non-reality, but still using. So this is the middle way.
This was really interesting, because then that really makes you question all of your perception. And when we talked before, you were comparing life in nunhood or monkhood with the layperson life, with the words of kindergarten comparing to high school. So for me it would be, this is probably the part where it really just gets to that complexity, where in kindergarten you just don't even have an understanding of what is happening in high school, because you don't even question these things.
And also then you don't have responsibility for what you already know. Because it is one thing to act wrongly out of not knowing, or to act wrongly when you know, but you follow your habit, or you just follow your desire to do it in the way easier for you. To stay in your comfort zone. You will still do something wrongly. It will appear in your mind the knowledge of how to do correctly, rightly, not to hurt others, not to, destroy something around, and to go and do what you need to do. But you will say, it requires some effort from me, or some time, or to be more cautious, or I can do quickly like this because it is habitual for me to do it in this way. So when you are in the kindergarten, even the knowledge that you know, you still don't have that responsibility, that feeling of really consciousness of being responsible for what you are and for what your actions are in this life. Sayadaw says, this is funny, I give so many citations of him, but because I learn a lot from him. I also listen to other masters and learn from all different cultures and even different religions. I learn from Judaism, I learn from Krishnaite. But Sayadaw says, we are what we do. And then I don't think we can apply it to children in the kindergarten, both in the literal meaning that 3, 4, 5 years old children, we can't apply that to them. And also I don't think we can apply it to those, we can apply it to those people who are adults but still live their life as in kindergarten, because they don't take responsibility on their shoulders. They prefer just to do faster, quicker, more comfortable, and without much applying your own mindfulness or something. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, in this way we apply exactly this phrase.
By the responsibility, do you mean that we are responsible to have a spiritual growth?
Or is it that we are really, with every action, when, for example, I'm thinking of an action that's maybe that I should take in account whether it's responsible or not, it's always if I'm making damage to other persons. But, for example, in nunhood or in monkhood, there I guess the responsibility might have a different importance.
You mean comparing different importance whether you're a nun or whether you would be making the same action as a lay person?
Yes, very much, because when I just think about the responsibility that grows within a spiritual understanding, I feel like the responsibility is just with me, that I think, okay, for my spiritual development, it would be best to do this or that. And I know, okay, when I want to stay in my comfort zone, then I will probably not make progress here, but still this is my decision. And is it actually a responsibility to make the spiritual progress, to take always the decision which is right or considered as the right action?
Continuation of this interview you can hear in about a week in my next podcast. Thank you for your attention. You're always welcome to leave your comments and questions, as well as visit my website at www.katerinauniversal.com. Also, come to listen to my mind sharing at my YouTube channel at Katerina Universal. And remember, life is to experience only.